Alright guys, अस्सलाम वालेकुम. This is next question regarding circular motion. यहाँ पे again question में आपको क्या बोला हुआ है that this is May June 8 P4 question 1. यहाँ पे बोल रहा है question में that define the radian. तो again मैं ये बोलूँगा that it is the angle. Right, let me move it a slide. It is the angle subtended at the center for which the arc length is equal to the radius, for which arc length is equal to the radius. That's it. Alright, next part में a small mass is attached to a string. The mass is rotating about a fixed point P at a constant speed as shown in figure 1.1. So this is actually the question. Okay, आगे वो बोल रहा है this is the mass and this is rotating mass at a constant speed. So what do we have to write? Explain what is meant by the angular speed about point P of the mass. So angular speed is actually the angular velocity. मैं यहाँ पर लिख देता हूँ angular velocity equals to angular speed. And मैंने theory में बताया था that angular velocity is actually omega. So we know that omega equals to delta theta upon delta time. So we can only write that what is meant by angular speed about point P of the mass. We can write that it is the rate of change of angle per unit time, या बल्कि rate of change of angle बोल दिया तो मुझे per unit time नहीं, or the angle swept at the center per unit time. मैं दोनों बातें लिख दे रहा हूँ. So it is the rate of change of angle or the angle swept at the center per unit time. That's it. Alright, let's move on. A horizontal flat plate is free to rotate about a vertical axis through its center. This is the center and this is rotating in this direction. और ये horizontal circular motion है as shown in figure 1.2. Next, the examiner says a small mass m is placed on the plate. This is the small mass m, a distance d from the axis of rotation. So this would be the radius. D will actually be the radius. So the speed of rotation of the plate is gradually increased, alright, from 0 until the mass is seen to slide off the plate. Obviously बात है जब आप speed बढ़ाओगे तो centripetal force भी आपके पास क्या कहते हैं बढ़ती जाएगी और वो slide off करता जाएगा. सही. अब सुनना है यहाँ पे अगली चीज़. Let's say the maximum frictional force F between the plate and the mass is given by the expression. This is this. अब यहाँ पे एक चीज़ सबसे important बात है. This is the frictional force. So the frictional force, let's say, the frictional force provides centripetal force. सही है. क्यों it provides centripetal force? Because it will be acting towards the center. Because it will be acting towards the center. सही है. अब वो यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन में बोल रहा है the distance d is 35 centimeter, that is the radius. Alright, I have to convert it into meters. 35 into 10 to power minus 2. Alright, determine the maximum revolutions of the plate per minute for the mass m to remain on the plate. Explain your working. Alright, for determining number of revolutions we have a simple formula. सबसे पहले बात तो that will Fc equals to mr omega square. So r is actually the radius that is given in the question. Alright, that is given in the question, that is mr omega square. So Fc is the frictional force, that is 0.72 W as stated in the question, and this is m, and radius is 35 into 10 to the power minus 2, and this is into omega square. So this is 0.72 mg, this is m, mass cancels out on both sides. This is 35 into 10 to the power minus 2, and this is omega square. So omega turns out to be, after taking all the root and on both sides, omega turns out to be 4.49 radians per second. Alright, the next part is I have to find the number of revolutions. So number of revolutions find करने के लिए हमेशा याद रखना आप omega equals to 2 pi n upon t. N is the number of revolutions. Number of revolutions, I am writing it. N is the number of revolutions. So omega is 4.49. This is 2 pi. N we have to find out. अच्छा 2 pi क्यों लिया? Because one complete rotation. क्योंकि नंबर ऑफ रोटेशन है तो कंप्लीट रोटेशन थी सारी, तभी मैंने 2 पाई एंगल लिया. टी वुड भी, उसने बोला पर मिनट निकालनी है मुझे, तो टी वुड बी 60 सेकेंड्स. तो एन टर्न्स आउट टू बी अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 43 revolutions per minute. I am writing this 43 revolutions per minute. और आप यहाँ पे 42 revolutions per minute भी लिख सकते हो, क्योंकि आंसर इसका आपका 42 पॉइंट समथिंग कुछ आएगा. तो दोनों एक्सेप्टेबल है. सही है. और नेक्स्ट पार्ट, यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन में नेक्स्ट पार्ट में आपको एग्जामिनर क्या बोल रहा है. लेट्स मूव ऑन टू नेक्स्ट पार्ट. द एग्जामिनर सेइंग द प्लेट इन बी is covered when stationary with the mud. Alright, it is covered with the mud. Suggest and explain whether the mud near the edge of the plate or near the center will first leave the plate as the angular speed of the plate is slowly increased. Alright, as the angular speed is slowly increased, so obvious सी बात है, the centripetal the radius is large at the edge. So obviously बात है centripetal force will be lower. तो centripetal force is smaller. So mud at the edge will slip off first. So I have to write this as the mud has a greater radius from the center at the edge. So it has smaller FC, that is centripetal force. So mud at the edge will slip first. Alright, because FC is proportional to 1 upon R according to this relation. You don't have to write the relation in your answer. Alright guys, thank you for this.